Thanks to Jenny. Fire officials in New South Wales in Australia have confirmed that all the bushfires in the state are thought to be contained. Heavy rain over the weekend put them out, but also brought flooding in some areas. Our correspondent Shamma Khalil is in Sydney and told me the latest.
It's one extreme to another. New South Wales has been thrashed by record rainfall and floods, more than it has seen for decades. It's been raining constantly in Sydney now, with massive disruptions to roads, to schools, to transportation, and emergency services are warning that there could be more rain and the risk of floods here in the state of New South Wales and in Queensland. Now, despite all of this, many people have actually been celebrating this change of weather. This has been a hot, long, brutal summer for New South Wales that's been worst affected by the bushfires, and I can tell you no one is happier about that change of weather, extreme as it is, more than the firefighters who've been trying for months to contain these fires, and now finally for the first time all the fires in the States have been contained.
And what does that mean, contained, Shamma? Does it mean all the fires are out?
No, there are some fires still burning, about 24 fires still burning across New South Wales. What that means effectively is that firefighters are able to surround these blazes with containment lines, keep control of them and prevent them from expanding. And control really has been the key word here, Nuala, all this season, and the main challenge. We've seen over the past few months these big fires then merge into mega blazes with fronts that just go for kilometers wide. And firefighters simply tell us they are just absolutely impossible to control. And what they needed was more rain. And that's what's been happening. Because of this consistent rainfall, these fires are now under control. That is not to say that there aren't fires in other states as well, and here in New South Wales, but now at a significantly lower level. And now what they have to do is make sure they keep them contained and, of course, keep an eye on the weather.
And I'm sure it's just probably so exhausted, these teams that have been working for so long. Let's turn to the people who have been directly affected. I mean, so heartbreaking, some of their stories that saw fire engulf their homes.
True.
What's happening? How are they coping? Are people returning?
Well, many people have returned to their areas, and of course some people, have had nothing to return to. More than 2,000 homes have been destroyed, but really the massive destruction is on so many levels. I mean, we're talking people's homes, we're talking wildlife, bushland, and the recovery really is slow going. So this is going to cost the government a lot of money. The insurance companies are still battling on how to handle this just because of the mere scale of it. What it has also done, really, Nuala, it has made Australians rethink how they're handling or how they're looking at the climate debate, putting more pressure on the government. We'll have to wait and see if that translates into anything in terms of climate policies. But people going back to their homes, students starting school, people trying to reopen their businesses, all of that has been really slow going just by the mere scale of these fires and the destruction that they've caused all these months.
And briefly, Shamma, there was such anger, right, that we saw with people outside their homes against the government as you talk about that climate policy. Do you think that's still there? How would you gauge the public mood?
Well, I think it is still there. The urgency of it hasn't been the same as when the fires were still going. But mind you, again, we're going from one extreme to the other. And that's really, if you look at Twitter, for example, and social media, many people are saying, well, hang on, so we've lived through extreme fires and now we're living through extreme floods. Clearly, something has to be said about climate. Clearly, the government can't avoid that any longer. So yes, the debate is still there. The pressure is still there. Whether the government is going to respond with anything that is concrete. Remember, Scott Morrison is a big supporter of the coal industry. Whether that is going to change, that's really what we'll have to wait and see.